name is Kathryn Roman, and I am the co-creator of Living Room Conversations. It's one of various projects and initiatives that I'm involved in the dialogue and deliberation community. I was very fortunate to get involved in this type of work at a very young age. I was about 12 when I started doing community organizing and getting involved with local groups from various different areas, and have been doing some form of bridge building work and coalition building since a very young age. So I've worked at some national political organizations and have always found opportunities to bridge and bring people together and find common ground. So Living Room Conversations is the latest evolution of that work with my partner on the project, Joan Blades, the co-founder of Move On and Moms Rising as well. Most folks put me on kind of the conservative spectrum politically, but I consider my work to be transpartisan and kind of transcending those party lines. And Living Room Conversations grew out of both my experience and Joan's experience as political activists and grassroots folks at heart, and finding that it's challenging to sometimes bring people to the table from various viewpoints, and that in order to do that effectively, you have to build community and build relationship so that you can go into those more challenging times and more stressful conversations or controversial conversations. And that was really the genesis of the Living Room Conversations project. So Living Room Conversations is a open source grassroots project. It's a project that Joan and I worked with a team of people, also with my colleagues at Changing the Game, which is another nonprofit organization that I helped found. And we basically designed a process that in a 2.5-hour structure, people can come together from opposite political spectrum positions and have a discussion about a charged political issue. So there's one self-identified progressive co-host and one self-identified conservative co-host. And they each invite 2 friends or friends of friends, so they use their social networks to rely on that community that they already have. Invite them into the room, and we have a conversation about a topic that is typically charged. And the design of the evening basically allows you to get to know each other on a little bit more of a personal level, which then makes it kind of a safe space for people and a container that can hold that more charged content moving forward. So we're helping build relationship and community and identifying actionable common ground moving forward. There's various ways that this can work. Our pilot project that we did about 1.5 years ago was designed for one-off conversations, so one-time conversations. It's what we were able to raise our resources for, and we focused on the conversation of energy and climate. And through all the conversations that we are aware of, it is open source, so we know about most of the conversations, but there could very well be other folks that are doing them and not feeding back in the feedback. They have been very successful, and people have even gone into them being quite skeptical that something can really come out of this and that you can identify common ground with folks from the other side of the aisle. One of the next evolutions of the project in this phase that we are committed to is trying to find ways that there can be kind of a series of questions. So we're working on a conversation that we've been talking with a group called Convergence, who's doing a large-scale health and wellness project. And so we're designing a living room conversation model for them where there are multiple conversations that build on each other so that the thread of this issue is carried throughout that. And the other part of the second evolution of living room conversations that we're hoping to bring to fruition now is getting a more robust online community formed, and so that the offline to offline virtuous cycle is something that will really inform what these 80 to 100% solutions on that Americans are agreeing on across the country on various issues. And then the big dream is to eventually bring those solutions to our elected officials and say, thousands of Americans from all over the country have found this to be a potentially good starting point, and then use that at a more state, regional, or national level even prospectively. Well, I do think that we are entering into a phase where there is a lot more collaboration and people I like to call reawakening the spirit of we the people. I think citizens of all stripes and all political ideologies are realizing that the system is broken in many ways and are looking for ways to kind of enter in and get that sense of a government of the people, by the people, and for the people back. And I think processes like living room conversations and participatory budgeting and more engagement opportunities for citizens to participate with elected officials really is the next wave of the future. And I think Living Room Conversations is an elegant way to enter into that phase because it's easy, it's accessible, it's granular, people understand it, and it's something that builds community in addition to discussing these more typically charged political issues. And that's something that no matter what challenges we're addressing, community is really valuable and important, and I think a healthy community will really contribute greatly to the next level of democracy in the next 10 years.